Namaskar. On Youth Express today, we are trying to connect to Mother India. Let's get nostalgic today. And I say that because amongst our audience today are young members of Indian Diaspora, and although they may come from different parts of the globe, yet they've got something common, their roots. Their forefathers belong to this great nation, India. A very warm welcome to everyone. Well, they are here as part of the Know India program, which is organized by Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs, Government of India. And I'm sure we will be very keen to know about their experiences. But to help us put into perspective as to what's the relationship between India and its 20 million plus diaspora, we have a very distinguished guest. Please welcome Professor Dinesh Singh, Vice Chancellor with Delhi University. Please identify yourself, from where you come, and what have been your experience so far.
Okay, my name's Avish Miraj. I'm from South Africa. My experiences were for this past week was like learning about the industries in India.
What made you apply for the Know India program?
Yeah, it was to come and learn more about business in India and job opportunities, and to see what's available and how it's different from South Africa.
And are you very keen to visit Gwalior as well?
Yes, I am. I'm actually planning to go there.
My grandparents were from Gujarat.
And what brings you to India?
Well, I'm a journalist. I just graduated a few weeks ago, and I'm ready to start my career. So I really wanted to come here to reconnect with my roots and find out how Indians interact, communicate, so that I can represent the minority back at home.
So what are your initial impressions? How do Indians interact?
They're very friendly.
Very friendly?
Yes, and they're very friendly, they're very warm, they treat each other like family, very smiling all the time.
My favorite part of being in India was probably shopping in Janpath market and bargaining. It was an experience, to say the least.
So is that the top priority here during your stay, shopping?
It's definitely part of the priority, but I came here to look at the similarities between my country, South Africa, and India.
What are the similarities between India and South Africa?
Well, they're both developing countries that are growing very fast, and it's wonderful to see countries that were previously thought of as third world countries growing and, catching up to first world countries.
That's the image that people are having about growing India. How do you see this relationship between India and its diaspora?
Well, I mean, I can certainly connect emotionally with what they're saying, because, even when I go abroad for short periods of time, I suddenly start getting nostalgic about my roots, my home. I miss the food, I miss the culture. And for people like you who are, so conversant but haven't been able to connect, this must be a great journey. You must be, in some ways, discovering something that you've read about, heard about, but now you experience firsthand.
I applied for the Know India program was to learn more about the culture of India. I've been doing classical dancing for 17 years, which I'm extremely interested in, and we finally got to watch some yesterday. It's very similar, and it's very nice.
I came here to connect my roots, and I don't know really about India, a lot of things, so I came in with open mind.
You're from Israel?
Yeah.
Which is your native place here in India?
Cochin.
Cochin?
Yeah.
So you desire to go there?
Yeah, I'm going there after the program.
And you've been in touch with them?
Yeah.
Your neighbor, I think that you are not very sure as to where your native village is in India.
No, but I do know I am from South India. I don't know the exact state.
So how would you find that out?
Well, my grandparents have told me that, but they are not sure themselves. So they found out from their grandparents.
From the time that our forefathers would have had an image of India, since then, from the present generation, India has evolved.
Oh, certainly, in many ways, India has evolved. But also, at the same time, there are some, non-convertibles. Some things don't change. She mentioned, for instance, Bharatnatyam. Now, the tradition of Bharatnatyam exists, and it isn't just about traditions. Certain inherent cultural practices, certain beliefs, they don't change with time. But yes, in many ways, things have changed. India is changing all the time.
पर आपको क्यों लगता है कि जो इंडियन डायस्पोरा है, फिर चाहे वो अमेरिका में हो, यूरोप में, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, पैसिफिक गल्फ, वो क्यों जुड़े भारत से?
देखिए, भारत की शायद बात ही कुछ निराली है, सारे जहां से अच्छा है, शायद उसी लिए जुड़े। लेकिन भारत के अंदर भारत की जो महत्ता है, वो एक वाकई में अनोखी है। भारत सदियों से कितने पता नहीं कितने हजार वर्ष से भारत की जो सभ्यता है वो बिना रुकावट, बिना टूट के उस कड़ी में चलती आ रही है. ये इसमें कुछ अद्भुत बात होगी तभी तो हो रहा है.
I came to India to visit the land of my ancestors.
Okay. Which is your native village?
They're from Gujarat.
From Gujarat. Can you speak Gujarati, Shazia?
No.
To say something in Gujarati?
Chani mani bes, which means be quiet and sit down. So that stuck with me a lot. But my parents always speak Gujarati at home. So it's English, French, and Gujarati in our house.
The initiative also has to come from the parents so that whether it's language, whether it's other cultural things, they are alive.
Oh, certainly. But I mean, it should not necessarily be a conscious initiative. You know, sometimes when you push things too much, your parents, if they push things too much, you will tend to withdraw. You know, you may recoil against that. But if they do that in a more natural way, then that initiative will pay off. It certainly will. But speaking of Gujarati, kem cho tame?
My family has roots in Andhra Pradesh, and we have traced back to the village. It's a village in Ellore, and our family members have been there. Yeah, unfortunately, this partnering state isn't Andhra Pradesh this time, it's Goa. So I hope I'll make another trip to the down south and maybe go and visit my family.
My whole reason of coming to India was to experience India firsthand.
What's been your experience like so far?
It has been amazing. I've seen a lot of, we went shopping, we went to visit Taj Mahal, which was amazing, but at the same time it was a bit tiring because of the heat, which was...
What have you bought?
A few saris and Taj Mahal.
Define few.
Enough to fit in my suitcase.
But talking about Taj Mahal, Professor Dinesh, do you think that India's got a lot of heritage and we shouldn't really stop only at Taj Mahal? No doubt Taj Mahal is a wonder, but there's much more to India.
Of course, the Taj Mahal is a great place to go. But Delhi itself is replete with lots of these monuments, historical places of historical, value, and you will find much variety and richness here.
I think that we have inherited in Fiji, in our country, is that we celebrate Diwali. Diwali is one of the major festivals that all the Indians in Fiji may celebrate, and it is done in a big way. Even our natives of the country, they also participate in this occasion. Apart from that, we have Holi celebration as well. We do Ram Navami, that's a 9 days thing. And Navratam and all the Ganesh Utsav is not that much practiced. It is practiced, but at a little scale.
Professor Dinesh, do you think that even she memorizes and recounts almost all the festivals?
Yeah.
Sometimes we become more nationalist when we are outside our own country.
That also happens, that when you miss something, then you adhere to it much more.
I heard of my parents that how beautiful India is. So I decided, let's have a look also. And yes, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, so I came here with an open mind and I'm enjoying everything. And here in India, every day you learn something new and you learn a new lesson in life that you can't learn anywhere else.
Share some of those lessons.
They're the nicest people ever, and they're so hospitable, and I think that it transcends, and even it goes to the other countries, and the Indians there are just like that. So it's in our blood.
And you consider yourself as a representative of India outside as well?
Yes.
Yes. And they are representatives of India wherever they may go.
Oh, certainly. I am heartened to hear you say that. No matter which part of the world you are, some corner of your heart will always beat for India.
India economy is growing very fast, and also the purchasing power is the largest, third largest in the world. And actually, I came here I want to expand my business in India.
So I've been fortunate enough to grow up in a Punjabi family. So we've got very big hearts, they say.
You can speak Punjabi as well?
Hanji Punjabi aandi hai.
I think that deserves a round of applause. पंजाबी में बोलिए.
मैं इंडिया फिर आया कि मैं एक अपने फैमिली नाल फिर मिला. फैमिली ये नहीं कि जेरे मेरे फादर है या मेरी आंटी अंकल है. मैं अपनी ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਓਪਰਚੁਨਿਟੀ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਊਥ ਅਫਰੀਕਾ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣ ਫੀਜੀ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਤੇ ਸੁਰੀਨਾਮ ਤੇ ਮਿਆਂਮਾਰ ਕਾਫੀ ਕੰਟਰੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਿਲੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਪਲ ਦੇ ਤੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਓਪਰਚੁਨਿਟੀ ਮਿਲੀ
Ma'am, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Warsha from Suriname. And why I applied for this is because of the music India makes so great and because of the dances.
So sure you would be a good singer as well.
No, I don't sing.
Anyone who can sing? Anyone who's very fond of... Here we have a volunteer. Ma'am, if you could please pass on the mic.
So this is my favorite song, Tu Jaane Na. You guys can join in too.
Yes, please.
कैसे बताएं क्यों तुझको चाहे यारा बता ना पाए बातें दिलों की देखो जो बातें आंखें तुझे समझाए तू जाने ना
Excellent, very nice. Very nice. Any of the girls who would like to sing?
I have a feeling he's trying to send a message back home to someone.
But I think Professor Dinesh has come to a very important point. Sometimes when people visit India, they also have in mind that, okay, let's look for an Indian spouse. Is that on your mind?
Probably my mother would like so. But for me, I think maybe at first I thought in my mind maybe someone from India would not be up to date with the Western culture and could live in a place like Canada. But after being here for the last 2 weeks, it's very apparent that some things here are even more Western than back home. So definitely, yeah, if there's any girls who I find this
Okay, the invite is straight on. Now the lines have blurred. We have become global Indians.
Right. It's certainly true. I mean, these distinctions are, sort of moving out. And it's becoming more and more a sort of unified situation. In some ways, it's very, very good. These distinctions, these differences should go away. But I don't want a completely unified world. There have to be some differences to make life interesting. You don't want everyone to look alike and think alike, do you? How many of you would like to go on a train journey in India?
Yes.
Are you going to take one? Yes. Oh, I'm so happy. So you should go on a long extended train journey. It's a very enriching experience, and try and travel what they call second class. That's the lowest class in India. You'll really discover India then. You'll find that people will open up to you and you will learn so much, and they'll be very nice to you.
Seeing the culture and the people of here actually makes me feel at home, and eating the food of here is quite nice.
So you don't feel like going back now?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
I mean, from childhood, like, we know that we are Indian and we have some roots and connection back in India always, and we always have that urge in our heart to come back and reconnect to our motherland.
What is it that you miss the most about India when you're abroad?
Looking at the people and the reality that we see. I mean, like, we always learn about India through TV. TV is the biggest medium that speaks a lot. And then seeing in TV and then seeing it with your own eyes, it's totally awesome.
My experience of India has been different. I don't want to comment yet on whether it's been an amazing one. I'd like to finish first. I'd just like to say that it's very different from my life back in South Africa.
I think right from childhood, India's always been Bollywood, but I knew that there was more to India than that, and that's why I'm here to discover.
Who's your favorite Bollywood hero?
I don't really have a favorite.
I'm fascinated by India. I came in here with an open heart and open stomach and open mind, and I'm really amazed by things here.
Okay. Yeah. So whether it's food, whether it's culture, there's a lot that India can offer.
Certainly. And all those things and much more. Remember, this is probably the only land that spawned 4 religions. There's no such geographical, region which has spawned 4 great religions of the world. Also think of, people like Mahatma Gandhi, Gautam Buddha, Bhagwan Mahavir, such great souls all within a small geographical region. So there's something special that you will get here, even in those terms.
Yes.
My experience was an emotional one. passing through my village, my ancestors' village, which is Nandgaon in Vrindavan, passing by a few kilometers and seeing the lives of people around, and just imagining that what our life would have been if we would have been here in India.
Yes.
The culture I think I won't get back at home is actually nothing, because in Suriname we have the, not exactly, but something like India is there.
The reason why I came here for the culture, and yesterday, Monday and Tuesday, we have learned more about the culture of India. So I'm really impressed, and I want to come back to India.
We went to the Indian Institute for Public Administration, and when we first started our first day, and we learned about India socially, economically, politically, how it's grown from the start. I was surprised to learn that there was only 9% or less than 9% of the population has access to internet access, yet it's growing at such a rapid pace. So when you think the rural areas become more metroized and become more interconnected, what the growth rate should be, Professor? Do you think it would be, crossing double digits, maybe even 20%?
I don't know about 20%. I mean, that could, sometimes then things can spin out of control. But you cannot overheat an economy, that can create trouble. But yes, I expect very soon India will stay at 9% to 10%. That's something that we feel is optimal, and will stay at that rate for a long time to come. We are reaching that level soon. I'm very confident of that.
When you go back home, what will you say? You went to India for No India program. What's the one thing that you want to take back home?
To be honest, it was like one of them already said, the Bharatanatyam of yesterday. It was so wonderful that I would say them, come here, see how they dance it here, and then we can start it again.
Okay, so always experience firsthand.
Yes.
Yes.
The charming people.
Charming people.
A place full of colors.
मुझे यहाँ का कल्चर बहुत अच्छा लगा.
आगे क्या बनना चाहते हैं फिर?
आगे तो मैं डांसर बनना चाहता हूँ.
डांसर बनना चाहते हैं?
या डांसर. अभी ट्राई कर रहा हूँ.
Indian dance, Western dance.
Yeah, Indian dance.
Indian dance. Which one?
Bharatanatyam.
Dance certainly attracts a lot of youth like you from different parts of the world. It's something about it, I guess.
Okay. Yes.
The thing I would take back to home is the fact that what we were told in the first day when we went to the Indian Institute of Public Administration, that India is a land of paradoxes, and it is exactly that from my 8 days of experience here.
So what's the paradox here?
In everything. In culture, you have people who are more westernized than, let's say, the US or the ones living in Australia, and you have people who are so deep-rooted in the culture of here that they represent the very core of Indian values.
About 15 years ago, if you'd gone to any rural part of India, you would have found it extremely difficult to communicate to anybody through the telephone. Now, the rate at which rural India is acquiring cell phones, so they've bypassed one generation altogether of the landlines. They just gone straight to the cell phone. And that is, one of the things that is eliminating differences. People use the cell phone to great advantage for their farming, for their businesses, all in the rural areas. So the economy gets pushed because of these reasons also, and who knows, it may get into double digits, it may.
It's about the main idea that comes to my mind right now is about the traffic, but because to me it seems like a huge mess, but people manage, so it will be like an organized mess. So.
Okay, so we're good at organizing or maybe managing mess. But you're from Portugal, you like soccer or cricket?
Soccer.
Soccer is getting more and more popular in India, by the way. It's getting extremely popular. So it may overtake cricket one day, who knows?
Well, people are talking about dances, about shopping, about soccer, hospitality. You have a lot of love for painting. What about youngsters connecting with the art?
Oh yes, there is all kinds of art here. I do not know if you got a chance to look at traditional Indian craftspersons. Did you get a chance to see that? The variety that exists over there, from all kinds of miniatures of Rajasthan and Himachal, to the Madhubani in Bihar, to other traditional forms of painting which are really murals that exist in many parts of India. And then of course modern Indian art derives a lot of its roots from all these traditions.
I have seen the craftsmanship, like we have been to a few places, malls and stuff, and we have seen the unique craftsmen, Indian craftsmen. It's really beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Amazing,
You plan
yeah.
to take some back home. But ma'am, did you had some problems interacting with the local people here? कोई भाषा में problem आई आपको यहाँ पर?
No.
कोई problem नहीं?
In Fiji, we speak in Fiji Hindi, so we can understand India Hindi and we can converse with them in their languages.
A lot of similarities between Fiji Hindi and Indian Hindi?
Yes.
Ma'am, when you were shopping, did you bargain as well?
Yes, पर मुझसे अच्छा bargain ये कर लेती है.
Well, I'll do the same song that I did before on the radio. It's a bhajan by one of the greatest singers in India, Anup Jalota.
Okay.
It's called Payoji Maine. Just
Okay.
a small bit of it. Meera ke Prabhu Giridhar Nagar, Meera ke Prabhu Giridhar Nagar, Harak harak jaise gayo, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन दण पायो, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन तण पायो, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन तण पायो.
Very good.
Professor, isn't that brilliant?
I'm deeply impressed and I'm touched by what you sang. I'm deeply impressed.
Do you
Very
think we who are here in India have a lot to learn from people?
Oh yes, I've learnt a lot today. I'm going to go back an enriched human being.
Right. So Alia, even if you are from Canada, not only in this trip you're learning about India, learning about South Africa, Fiji,
Right.
other places as well.
Yeah, we're creating relationships all over the world, and now when we want to go visit, we're like, hey, Bhai Saab, I'm coming. You have a place for me to stay.
Frankly, I'd like to take everything home, but I don't have enough space in my bag. But definitely the experience, and hopefully to keep in contact with all the people that I've met here, because I think that's the greatest thing I've taken out of this trip so far.
But
Meeting all
more than
these
the
wonderful
suitcase,
people.
it's about storing all the memories in your heart.
Yes, yes, absolutely. It's your heart which will accommodate everything and more. So I'm sure you'll take so many things in your heart.
Yes, ma'am, as we conclude, if a genie comes to you and says, I'll grant you one wish, what will you ask?
For 10 more wishes. Yes, definitely. Okay, and one question for our stars sitting here. What makes you proud to be Indian when you're out of your home country?
Well, I couldn't single out a single thing, you know, that's what really makes me proud. I guess it's a collective aggregate. But you know, our culture, our heritage, there's something unique about India. There's something special. And I don't say this only because I'm an Indian. You know, I have been to many parts and they all have something special. All countries will give you something special. All regions will. But there is something extra about India, and it's hard to define. But there was this great poet many years ago in India, and then he wrote that there's something about us. He didn't define it, but he says there's something about us in India that doesn't allow us to be obliterated. We survive. Living culture, the only living culture that has survived for thousands of years without, you know, any break.
What happens to all the people who can't adapt to the modern world? Like a lot of elderly people wouldn't be able to use the internet or wouldn't take a liking to use certain things. So will they just be wiped out, or what will be the situation in the future?
I don't think so. You know, in India there is a very strong culture of taking care of your elderly, and you will always find exceptions and some things that will disturb you, but largely that's not true. And do not underestimate the elderly. They adapt to the internet very easily.
Are there any wise words or messages that you would like to send out to them, sir?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. To really be contented in life, to really, you know, and I do not define success in the traditional means of, you know, having a great income, a great lifestyle. Real success comes when there's a certain amount of, you know, contentment within you, a satisfaction. And that happens when you discover your own true selves from within. You have to discover the drumbeat within. The one place in the world where I find the chances of the youth discovering their drumbeat within more easily than other places is India. And so there's a much stronger chance for youth to be more contented in life, to be more productive, and to enjoy life in the true sense.
do you think the relationship between India and its diaspora will only strengthen in times to come?
Absolutely, it will. And I will look forward to more such occasions, you know.
More such occasions. Well, as they say, you may invest in gold, you may invest in silver, equities, but we need to invest in relationships, because that's the investment that'll give you the best returns. And looking at that return, India perhaps is among the richest nation among all the globe. Thank you so much for our audience today, and thank you very much to Professor Dinesh Singh for joining us today.